and we're going to work this as best as we can. If you watched my previous video, we know that Alam his tickets were basically A plus questions or some kind of certificate questions. So, but we're going to touch on it because I don't want to not use this content as an educational thing for everybody. It says here, but Outlook is not updating, is not accept incorrect password reset from Office 365, but still not working. What is the troubleshooting? So I'm assuming there's an issue with logging into the Outlook, and that there's a description here. User log into computer, have the internet, but Outlook is not updating. A pop enter password. I don't know what that means. If password enter is not accepting, so it's incorrect password, right? And it sounds like you've reset the password in Office 365. Every time, every time you get an issue when somebody can't log in, it's I was going to say 90% of the time it's the user's fault, assuming that you know that the password has been reset. But here are some options that you have. Number one, in this issue, you reset the password. However, the issue comes up as incorrect password when user types it in. So what do you need to do? You need to use logic here. Check to see that the user is typing in the password correctly. Check to make sure that you've given the correct password to the user. Number three, make sure that the user is not logged in somewhere else with the old password, because that could be locking out the user from the Office 365, because if you try too many times the wrong password, so if you use the old password too many times, it can lock you out, which could also be happening. And then for those reasons, you may have to wait between 15 to 30 minutes for it to automatically reset, or you can go in manually and unlock them. The same thing happens with the Active Directory. And again, I've talked about this many times and shown how this is done. Uh, and But since this is kind of a theoretical question, what if, what are the troubleshooting steps? These are the troubleshooting steps, right? This is what he's asking. So, you reset the password and it's still not working. Then the issue has to be with the user not typing it in correctly, or they don't have connection. Because if you move from that, like you try to do everything you can when it comes to the password, like what else can you do? You reset the password, you give them the new password. If it's still not working, they're either not doing it correctly or there's something wrong with the computer. And the only thing that can really be wrong with the computer, I should say most likely the thing that could be wrong with the computer, is they are either on VPN, or they should be on VPN, but they're not connected to the VPN. So therefore they're not connected to the network, and therefore they're not connected to the domain, which controls their password. Now this is Office 365, so this is web-based. So chances are of that actually happening is kind of unlikely. But it could be set up in such a way where it still would not work unless you're connected to the company's network. So check that. Check to see if other websites work. Check to see if other products, Microsoft products work. Like instead of just Outlook, check Word, check OneDrive, check everything else that uses the same password. So if the issue is still with the Outlook only, then reinstall Outlook if it's the desktop version. If it's the desktop version that they're using and it's only Outlook, everything else works, then try the web version of Outlook. Okay? So those are the troubleshooting steps. That's all I can think of. Hey, if anybody else got more ideas, feel free to put them in comments below. Okay. So I'm going to reply and close the ticket. So I'm going to step one, check the password. Make sure user is typing in the correct password and that they are using the correct password, meaning you need to check yourself as well, right? Make sure you've given them a correct password. We can't just assume all the time that it's user's fault, because it's not all the time user's fault. It's not. As simple as that. What did I say for second step? Make sure they are connected to the company's network. VPN, physical. Physical meaning, they're at the office plugged in with a network cable, right? Number 3. What did I say for number 3? Check to see if password works for other Microsoft products. For example, Word, Excel, OneDrive. If working fine, oh yeah, that's fine. That's just a step, right? And then we got step 4. Just scroll this up a little bit. Okay. If using a desktop version of Outlook, try reinstalling it. Now this is still assuming that it works fine for other products, right? Reinstalling it and or try the web version of Outlook, also known as webmail. It's not just Outlook that uses this. Other, websites, other products use webmail, right? Oh, well, we all use, right? If anybody who uses the internet uses that webmail. But in a business environment, people are used to having Outlook as an installed application on their computer. However, you can use it as a webmail on the internet, as a URL on a website. All right, so check that.